Buckle up, everybody, for another deep dive. And today's going to be a wild one.
Yeah, we're going all over the place.
We are. We're going to be looking back over the last 100 years, but just at January the 17th.
One day.
Just the 17th of January, yeah.
A century of one day.
Yeah, and there's everything in there.
There is.
I mean, we've got presidents, we've got explorers, pop stars.
Wars, natural disasters.
Yeah, treaties. I mean, it's
big and small.
It's going to be a lot.
Yeah.
So let's just dive straight in, shall we? I think the best place to start is probably,
Well, the beginning.
yeah, right back at the start of the century, 1912.
Okay.
And the South Pole. I mean, come on.
That's a good one.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah.
So we've got Robert Falcon Scott.
Leading a team of British explorers.
Yeah, I mean, what a grueling journey they had.
Absolute brutal conditions.
It's incredible. They even made it as far as they did, really.
They did, yeah. And, they're racing to be the first to the South Pole.
Yeah, against Roald Amundsen.
Yeah, the Norwegian team. Yeah.
And they get there, and, they must be exhausted but also elated, right? They think they've done it.
Yeah. Triumphant.
Only to find that Amundsen had beaten them to it.
By a month.
Yeah, can you imagine?
What a blow.
To come all that way and find that someone else got there first.
Must have been just soul-destroying.
And then, of course, the journey back. Even tougher.
They didn't make it, did they?
Sadly, no. They all perished on the way back.
It really makes you think about, what drives people to do these kinds of things, these incredible feats.
It's that human need to explore, to push boundaries, even in the face of incredible danger.
Absolutely. And it's something that continues to this day,
Oh, yeah.
We're still exploring the depths of the ocean. We're still pushing the boundaries of space travel.
It's part of what makes us human, I think, that desire to see what's out there, to understand the world around us.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But okay, let's bring it back down to earth a little bit and move on to 1920.
A bit of a change of pace, I guess.
A bit of a change of pace, yeah.
Sure.
1920 in America. Prohibition.
Prohibition, yeah. What a time to be alive, eh?
Or not, depending on how you feel about alcohol, I guess.
That's right. I mean, so January the 17th, 1920, this is when the 18th Amendment comes into effect.
And suddenly the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcohol are illegal.
Just like that. Gone.
It was a huge social experiment, really an attempt to improve public health and morality.
Yeah, the idea was that by getting rid of alcohol, society would improve.
Right. Less crime, less poverty, healthier families.
I guess in theory it sounds kind of good.
Maybe, but in reality, of course, it didn't quite work out that way.
No, it backfired, didn't it?
Big time. It actually led to a surge in organized crime as gangsters stepped in to fill the void left by legitimate businesses.
The speakeasies, all that.
Exactly.
It's kind of fascinating how these attempts to control people's behavior can have these unintended consequences, right?
Absolutely. And, it really changed American culture in a lot of ways, too.
Yeah, it's a really interesting period of history, I think.
Yeah, it's a really interesting period of history, I think. So, okay, let's jump ahead a bit now to 1946, another big one for the history books.
Yeah, this is when the first session of the United Nations Security Council takes place.
After the horrors of World War II, there was this collective desire to create a forum for international cooperation to prevent future conflicts.
Yeah, the idea that countries could come together to talk things out instead of going to war.
Diplomacy rather than violence.
Right, and this first meeting of the Security Council, it really symbolized that hope for a new world order.
And it's still going today.
It is, yes, still going strong. And, it's interesting to see these two events, right? Prohibition in 1920 and the UN Security Council in 1946, they both represent attempts to change the world.
But in very different ways.
Exactly. One focusing on controlling individual behavior and the other on fostering global cooperation.
It makes you wonder which approach is ultimately more effective, right?
It's a big question, isn't it? But hey, let's lighten things up a bit, okay? It's not all doom and gloom on January the 17th.
No, there have been some pretty amazing people born on this date.
Oh, yeah. We got some icons in the mix.
Legends, even.
Legends, absolutely. So where do you want to start?
Well, we can't talk about January the 17th without mentioning the greatest.
Muhammad Ali.
Born in 1942.
A true icon.
A boxer, an activist, a cultural phenomenon.
And he wasn't afraid to speak his mind.
No, he was a vocal advocate for civil rights, a critic of the Vietnam War.
He really transcended boxing, didn't he?
Absolutely. He became a symbol of hope and resistance for millions around the world.
Yeah, his impact was felt far beyond the ring.
And then, of course, we have Michelle Obama, born in 1964.
Another incredible figure.
As First Lady, she really redefined the role, focusing on issues like education, health, and women's rights.
And she did it with such grace and style.
She was a role model for so many people.
Yeah, she really inspired a generation.
And speaking of inspiring a generation, you can't forget Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh yeah, their iconic album, Sounds of Silence.
Released on January the 17th, 1966.
Their music really captured the spirit of the times, didn't it?
It spoke to the anxieties and the hopes of a generation grappling with war, social change, and the search for meaning.
It's amazing how their music still resonates with people today.
It's timeless, really, and it just goes to show how art can have this incredible power to connect with people across generations.
For sure, for sure. So, we've had explorers, we've had social movements, we've had pop culture icons, but January the 17th has also seen its fair share of political drama.
Oh, yeah, some pretty pivotal moments in history.
I mean, presidents, scandals, you name it.
It's all there.
Okay, so let's go back to 1977.
Jimmy Carter, a newly elected president.
Yeah, and he makes this really controversial decision.
He pardons Vietnam War draft evaders.
Thousands of them.
It was a bold move, an attempt to heal the divisions caused by the war.
But it was also really divisive.
Some people saw it as an act of mercy, a way to finally put the war behind them.
Others saw it as a betrayal.
They felt like those who had dodged the draft were getting away with something.
That those who had served or lost loved ones in the war were being disrespected.
It was a complex issue with no easy answers.
And it really highlights the challenges of leadership, right?
Yeah.
Trying to balance different perspectives, making tough decisions that are bound to upset some people.
And then, of course, we have the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal.
This one broke on January 17th, 1998.
It dominated the news cycle for months.
It was everywhere you looked. The president's personal life splashed all over the media.
It raised questions about the nature of power, the role of the media, and the boundaries between public and private life.
And it really changed the way we think about politics, I think.
Absolutely. It brought the personal lives of politicians into the spotlight in a way that we hadn't really seen before.
And that scrutiny, it hasn't gone away, has it?
No, if anything, it's intensified with the rise of social media.
It's a whole different world now, isn't it?
It certainly is. Okay, so we've covered some pretty heavy topics so far.
Yeah, we have. But January the 17th isn't all about politics and scandals.
No, it's also a date marked by both tragedy and resilience.
Sadly, yeah. I mean, 1995, the Kobe earthquake.
A devastating natural disaster.
Absolutely. Thousands of people lost their lives, and the city was left in ruins.
It's hard to even comprehend the scale of the destruction.
But amidst the tragedy, there were also stories of incredible courage and compassion.
People coming together to help each other, to rebuild their lives.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can shine through.
Absolutely. And, speaking of resilience, in 2005, the film Hotel Rwanda was released.
Powerful film.
It told the story of the Rwandan genocide, a horrific event that the world largely ignored at the time.
It was a really important film because it brought attention to this atrocity and sparked conversations about the responsibility to intervene in humanitarian crises.
It's a reminder that we can't turn a blind eye to suffering, that we have a responsibility to act.
And it's interesting to think about these two events, the Kobe earthquake and the release of Hotel Rwanda, happening on the same date a decade apart.
It's a reminder that life is full of both darkness and light, that tragedy and resilience often go hand in hand.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, so let's move on to something a little lighter.
How about some sports and games?
Okay, sounds good. So in 2008, we have the passing of a chess legend.
Bobby Fischer.
Yeah, a brilliant but controversial figure.
His matches against the Soviet Union during the Cold War were more than just games.
They were these epic battles of intellect, symbolizing the ideological struggle between the two superpowers.
It's fascinating how even something like chess can become entangled with global politics.
It's true. And then, on a completely different note, in 2011, Lionel Messi wins his second Ballon d'Or award.
Cementing his status as one of the greatest footballers of all time.
He's amazing to watch, isn't he?
A true magician with the ball at his feet.
And it's amazing to think that both Bobby Fischer and Lionel Messi, two individuals at the top of their respective fields, achieved milestones on this same date.
It speaks to the diversity of human talent and the pursuit of excellence in all its forms.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but let's zoom out for a moment and consider the bigger picture.
The cosmic perspective.
Exactly. So in 2013, NASA announced the discovery of a new solar system.
With planets that could potentially support life.
Yeah, it was a huge discovery. It really sparked the imagination.
Are we alone in the universe? What other kinds of life might be out there?
It's mind-boggling, isn't it?
It's one of those questions that has fascinated humanity for Centuries.
And it's amazing to think that we're actually getting closer to finding answers.
We are, thanks to advances in technology and the tireless work of scientists all over the world.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
Yeah.
But, okay, let's bring it back down to earth again and talk about something a little more grounded.
Back to the world of politics.
Yeah. In 2016, the Iran nuclear deal was signed.
A complex agreement aimed at preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons.
It was a major diplomatic achievement involving years of negotiations between multiple countries.
And it was controversial, too, with some people arguing that it didn't go far enough.
It was a really delicate balancing act, trying to address the concerns of all parties involved.
But it did show that diplomacy can work, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges.
It's a glimmer of hope, I think. And as we wind down our journey through January the 17th, let's take a look at some of the more recent events.
Events that are still shaping the world today.
Exactly. So in 2019, we lost the beloved poet, Mary Oliver.
Her work was so beautiful, so full of wonder and appreciation for the natural world.
She really had a way with words, didn't she?
Said her poems were like these little windows into the soul, these moments of quiet contemplation.
And then in 2020, the world was shocked by the news of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepping back from their royal duties.
It was a huge break with tradition, a sign of the changing times.
It really sparked a conversation about the role of monarchy in the modern world, didn't it?
And about the pressures of fame and the importance of personal freedom.
It was a big deal. And then, of course, we have 2021 and the inauguration of Joe Biden as President of the United States.
A very different inauguration than usual, given the pandemic and the political climate.
Yeah, it was a tense time.
It really highlighted the fragility of democracy and the importance of peaceful transitions of power.
Absolutely. Okay, so there you have it. A century's worth of January 17th.
What a whirlwind tour through history.
It's amazing how much can happen in a single day, right?
It is, and it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What seemingly insignificant event happening today, January the 16th, 2025, might one day be looked back on as a turning point in history.
What small decision, what chance encounter might have ripple effects that we can't even imagine.
It's a thought-provoking question, isn't it?
It is. It is. And on that note, I think we'll wrap things up here.
Yeah, I think we've covered enough for one day.
We have. But keep those questions in mind, folks. And until next time, keep exploring.
Keep digging deeper.
Keep diving into those rabbit holes. You never know what you might find.
That's right. The past is full of surprises.
And who knows what the future holds.
We can only wait and see.
That's right. That's right.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.